Good afternoon, and thank you for being here at Highmark Stadium as we make an important announcement regarding health and safety protocols for Highmark Stadium as well as KeyBank Center for the future. I'm also joined by Dr. Gail Burstein, our Commissioner of Health, as well as Ron Rokuya will be joining us to say a few words from Pagula Sports and Entertainment. Today we're making an announcement in conjunction with the Buffalo Bills, the Buffalo Sabres, and Pagula Sports Entertainment that all guests 12 and older will be required to provide proof of at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccine to attend any game or event at Highmark Stadium and the KeyBank Center, starting with the September 26th Bills game against the Washington football team, at Highmark Stadium. Guests under the age of 12 will be allowed, even though they cannot be vaccinated, but will be required to wear a mask at all times inside the stadium. The Bills and the Erie County Department of Health Department sanitarians will be enforcing the new policy starting with the game on the 26th, and we'll go a little bit more into that detail in a minute. Starting with the game on October 31st and thereafter, not only here but also at KeyBank Center, the same timelines apply for the hockey arena as they do for the football stadium. But starting on the game on October 31st and thereafter, guests must be fully vaccinated for entry. Guests are considered fully vaccinated 2 weeks after the second dose in a 2-dose series, such as the Pfizer or Moderna vaccine, or 2 weeks after the single dose of the Johnson & Johnson J&J vaccine. There will be no test-out option offered. Every individual guest must be vaccinated at least one dose, starting with the Washington football team game that the Bills are playing against on September 26th. Any events that occur at the KeyBank Center between September 26th and October 31st, and then, of course, all events following October 31st at both KeyBank Center and Highmark Stadium for the hockey games, the Bills games, and any other events that may occur in that period. Only vaccinated guests under the above described procedures that we just talked about will be permitted entry. There will once again be no test out option. Because all guests aged 12 and older will have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine starting with the September 26th game, masks will not need to be worn anywhere in either the stadium or the hockey arena. Once again, because every person entering as a guest will have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine for the September 26th game against Washington and the events that follow thereafter, either here or at KeyBank Center. Masks will not have to be worn upon entry, though the county and the County Department of Health highly recommend, due to the potential for spread still among individuals who have been vaccinated, that you do wear a mask in an indoor setting. You do not have to, though. It will not be required. We certainly were monitoring the situations associated with the Billy Joel concert, the preseason game, as well as the most recent game. And while there was the requirement to wear masks in the indoor setting, we know that that was not the case. Our Department of Health sanitarians were monitoring individuals in the club seat areas and the indoor sections of the clubs, suites, bathrooms, and other areas, and determined that approximately 47% of the individuals that they monitored were wearing masks. We tried it. It didn't work, and we also have increasing numbers of COVID in our community. Friday, we announced that positive for new COVID cases, and that was the highest number we've had since April. So, how do you prove that you have been vaccinated? To verify COVID-19 vaccines, all guests 12 and older will be required to display one of the following if they are coming to the football stadium or the hockey arena: a physical vaccination card. Photocopies will not be accepted. It must be the actual card, or the New York State Excelsior Pass, or through Clear, a digital vaccine card, or a governmental digital vaccine card from proof outside of New York State. Not every state is offering these digital cards, but some are. We will be becoming acquainted with all of the vaccine passports that are available from other states. As noted, guests cannot provide a photograph of the card. They must have the card or one of the 3 other methods which are electrified previously. I would like to note, there may be some out there who are thinking, I'm going to fake it. I'm going to create a fake card. Please do not do that. Presenting a fake card is a Class D felony. And as was announced by District Attorney John Flynn last week, individuals who present fake cards in situations where they are asked to prove vaccine can be prosecuted and will be prosecuted. Our Department of Health sanitarians will be spot checking individuals who present actual cards and then confirming thereafter if they're actually in the systems. And if they're not in the system, that information will be provided to law enforcement. So if you're thinking you're going to get around this by presenting a fake card, please don't try that. Please don't try that, because none of us want to see anybody be prosecuted. And there have been cases in the United States already announced of individuals prosecuted for providing what is a fake governmental instrument, which is the vaccine card. There will be no exceptions granted to this policy with regards to vaccination. As noted, there will be no exceptions granted to this policy as it pertains to vaccination of guests, and that is a joint agreement between Pagula Sports Entertainment, representing the Buffalo Bills and the Buffalo Sabres in the county of Erie. We believe that this is the best and only way to ensure a truly safe atmosphere where COVID cannot be passed and people are put at risk, because we know the individuals who are entering the facilities then are vaccinated. We do understand that there is always a risk that an individual who has been vaccinated could carry the disease. But we know from the information that we have that if that person should be infected, their odds of sickness are very slim. Their odds of serious illness are exceptionally low. And our goal is to ensure that we have very happy, very loud fans at the stadium, but that it's a safe environment for all. To assist those who may want to get a vaccine but have not received one as of yet, Erie County will of course be doing multiple vaccination clinics, as we always have been doing since the beginning of the vaccine availability. And I want to thank Pagula Sports Entertainment, the Buffalo Bills and Buffalo Sabres, because we will be doing them on site at the stadium and the hockey arena as well. We will be here starting next Wednesday, September 22nd, from noon to 8, and every Wednesday through October. And we will also be at the KeyBank Center on Monday, September 20th from 2 to 8, and at other days thereafter. And then, of course, there are many other vaccine locations that Erie County offers, as well as what is offered by many other outlets, retail outlets and others, to get vaccinated in Erie County. I specifically want to thank the Pagulas, Terry and Kim, for embracing this direction that we are going. The discussions with regards to going to vaccinated only started before the first regular season game. And I want to thank Ron Rokuya from Pegula Sports Entertainment, as we've had multiple discussions on it. And while it may have been my preference to have instituted home game, we also understood that the logistical issues made it nearly impossible. And so we decided that it would be best to announce it today, effective for the second home game that the Bills are playing against Washington. But I want to thank the Pagulas for embracing this. I had the opportunity to speak to both Terry and Kim during this most recent game against the Steelers, and it's fair to say, based on my conversations, that they understand that this is needed, they embrace it, and they want to ensure that when people come to the games, whether it's a Bills game or soon-to-be Sabres game, that it's a safe environment for all. So I thank the Pagulas for embracing this, and I thank their organization for working with us to ensure as we go forward we have a safe location for all, and that there's no question that when the fans are screaming at Highmark Stadium, these people have been vaccinated. when the fans are screaming, usually a little bit more sedate crowd at the hockey arena, but when they're cheering on the Sabres, they're all vaccinated. As I spoke previously when I originally announced the intention to do a vaccine mandate, that it's always subject to change. And we pulled back on that once the numbers had basically gone to zero. But we're not at zero anymore. As noted, Friday had the highest number of new cases in Erie County since April. Unfortunately, our hospitalizations have been growing. We've had increased deaths. The week of August 27th to September 2nd, there were more deaths in that week, 1 week, than there was in the entire month of July, basically double the number of deaths in the entire month of July, and it was equal to the entire month of June. COVID-19 has not gone away. The Delta variant is very, very contagious, and if you're unvaccinated, you're at a high risk of serious illness. Individuals under the age of 40 have died recently in Western New York, not only in Erie County, but I know in other counties as well. I know an individual under the age of 30 recently died, I believe in Chautauqua County, of COVID-19 that was unvaccinated. It is important that we ensure that we have happy fans that are screaming and supporting our team, but we want to do it in a safe environment. And the best way to do that is to ensure that all are vaccinated. At this time, I'd like to introduce Ron Rokuya from Pagula Sports Entertainment. As I said, Ron and I have been discussing this for quite some time, and this is a mutual decision between Erie County and Pagula Sports to ensure that we are providing not only the most fun atmosphere you can have with the teams, but the safest. So, Ron.
Thank you, County Executive. Really, I don't have much to add. The County Executive just did a very great job of articulating how we've worked collaboratively with the county over the past several weeks, months, all throughout the pandemic. We are looking to provide the safest environment for our fans that we possibly can. We're thankful for this collaboration. We feel like this is the right move going forward, and Dr. Bernstein and County Executive Polenkars have been at the forefront of that. One small thing I want to add to the County Executive's comments: the mandate at KeyBank Center will start on September 25th at the Erie Church concert. With so many moving parts and all that, that is the first event, so I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of that. But on behalf of the Pagulas and all of our organizations, we are very thankful for the collaboration, and we look forward to hosting fans here in the most safe way possible for the foreseeable future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. I also want to note that our Commissioner of the Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Services, Dan Nevert's here, as well, and Ryan Sheedy from the department. They've been instrumental, of course, in a lot over the last 18 months, like the Department of Health has. And I know Ryan, who's running our vaccine clinics, is looking forward to setting up more vaccine clinics to ensure that more people are vaccinated in our community, regardless of whether they attend an event or not. So with that, I'll open it up to questions. Sandra? No, this was the plan. We actually had a very substantive meeting of officials last week from Pagula Sports Entertainment, the Buffalo Bills organization, the Buffalo Sabres, including quite a number of the individuals that you see here. And we decided, I would have been my preference to have started this past week, but it just logistically was impossible because we needed to have enough individuals. We needed to ensure that it's one thing to check individuals at the gate for issues associated with weapons and things like that. It's another thing to actually have individuals there to check for cards and ID to confirm that these are the individuals who are coming in. So it was a joint decision to make this last week, but we wanted to announce it now so that people weren't confused with regards to the first game. I have to admit, I was very disappointed. I was here, and I want to thank, first off, the attendees who wore masks in indoor settings. As we said, our Department of Health sanitarians determined it was about 47% on average as they were going around. One club's area might be better than another, one bathroom could be better than another. But I do want to thank everyone who wore a mask because that's what we had asked. But it's quite apparent after that, even though we'd already made the decision, that helped to prove that this is the right decision to ensure the safety of all.
You say that helped, Mr. Executive. Is this being done because you really couldn't
Well, I think it's fair to say we wanted to ensure that everyone would have an opportunity to enjoy the football games. But now it's going to be limited to those that are vaccinated. If you do not want to get vaccinated, as I've said previously, that does not give you a right to go to a football game or a hockey game. And to those individuals, I would say if you want to go to the games, get vaccinated. We're going to be offering vaccines here and at the hockey arena. We will be offering them at other locations. We've been at SUNY Erie South for months now. It's fair to say that the most important factor was looking at the increasing numbers and seeing what occurred in the Billy Joel concert at the preseason game, but now we had the largest amount of individuals. We made the decision on this last week. And as noted, it applies not only here but to the hockey arena, which is 100% indoors.
All of the ticket information will be available on our websites immediately after this press conference. There are options for all of our fans, and they will be able to choose what option is best for them. There's combinations of all of that. Those are conversations that are really best left to our ticket reps and the fans themselves. The fans have options when it comes to what to do. Safety is, without question, our number one priority. Yeah, we reached out to all of them, specifically the protocols at the U.S. Open that just ended and the Las Vegas Raiders that just hosted 100% capacity, fully vaccinated at their game last night.
If there are fans who don't have a vaccine and they won't get a vaccine, do they risk losing future season tickets because of this new rule?
Honestly, all of that is really subject to our fan, our season ticket holder, talking to our customer service reps and figuring out the best program for them.
I know a number of individuals, as in every game, may have been escorted out for violation of the fan conduct or code of conduct. I am not aware of any. I think there was a determination by the sanitarians and others that because there was such significant failure to follow the policy, it would have been near impossible to ask every person who was refusing to wear a mask to leave. So that information was provided. I actually received the report on the percentages of mask wearing on late Sunday night and the information with regards to the food locations came on Monday. I will note that's not different than what we've done in the past. We've had our sanitarians here in the past to ensure that the safety of the food that's provided on a game day at the locations that are being bought is safe. So I want people to think this is the first time they've ever done that. Sanitarians are here almost every game, especially when there's some locations where you have rotating people in and out that may not be familiar with that stand. And generally, we've had very great relationship with the Bills as well as Delaware North to ensure that the safety is the number one priority. So while there was individuals that were noted that weren't wearing masks in some of these locations, we have a responsibility through the Department of Health to provide that information to Delaware North, and that was. But when it comes to the removal of fans, I'm not aware of anyone that was removed for failure to wear a mask. I do believe there may have been some issues with regards to some unruly fans that we always have every game, which usually has a lot more to do with the amount of liquid that they drink before the game than often anything else. George.
No, absolutely not. We've been working on this. I know, county executive said for a couple of weeks, but if I check my text messages, it's probably been several months. This is a natural flow of what's been happening in society with testing and the virus. So no, we were in line with what was done before. I even point you back to last year in the playoff games. I mean, we took, an unprecedented step to allow fans to come to a playoff game by setting up testing and doing all of that. So the Pagula commitment has always been 100% about the safety of the fans.
Michael, could you further elaborate why there
It was a joint decision between the Bills or the Pagula organization and the county. We believe that the only way to ensure a real safe atmosphere is to actually have people vaccinated. Test out is you can get a test and you could theoretically catch it 5 minutes after the test. And because of the timeline of testing, you could then theoretically, and shown in some situations, be the one sharing the illness 2 days later within the testing period. So when it comes to religious exemptions, there are no religious exemptions that we're really aware of, as was just noted in an article in the Buffalo News. The Catholic Diocese does not and will not be calling for any religious exemptions, just as Pope Francis is saying it's an act of charity to be receiving the vaccine. There are no major religions that we're aware of. And what we want to do is ensure that everyone who walks in as a guest, they all know that everyone else who's walking in as a guest is vaccinated. And not, well, is that person in that seat over there, did they claim a religious exemption and maybe they weren't vaccinated and maybe they're carrying it? So we felt it was best to not allow a test out option, to just say the only individuals who can enter the stadium that are not vaccinated are those that are under the age of 12 because they cannot be vaccinated at this point. But they must come with someone who's vaccinated and they must be wearing a mask at all times during the game. Mike?
Does this apply to the Harbor Center?
No, this does not apply to Harbor Center. The capacity limits are different. There's a lot of variants that are different.
A lot of people there.
Harbor Center will apply by all the government rules and regulations that govern an arena the size of Harbor Center.
We cannot say that we have any evidence of a super spreader, but we do have evidence of individuals from our contact tracers who actually attended both and were either sick the day of, we believe, or caught COVID in a time period thereafter where they could have theoretically been sick at the time or had been infected at the time they attended it. They were not super spreader events. We're talking about smaller numbers. We're not talking about thousands. We're not talking about hundreds. But we are aware of individuals who attended both the Billy Joel concert and the preseason game that not only tested positive for COVID immediately thereafter, but may have been in the contagious stage while attending the event. And now we get Dr. Burstein to come here. And I want people to understand, if we felt that there were super spreader issues, we'd be very concerned about just even the numbers associated with attending the facility. But
right, we only have data from the Erie County Health Department on Erie County residents, and I'm sure that there were many residents from other counties, maybe even other states, that attended these two events. So we have incomplete information. But as the county executive said, we do have evidence. There were people that were contagious, at least from Erie County, that did attend both events. And so we want to do everything we can to ensure safety of Erie County residents and of Western New York of any large events and any large gatherings. And vaccinated is a key to safety against COVID-19, especially in these large events.
I will note, one of the things we really are trying to avoid is capacity restrictions. There's been a lot of questions about capacity restrictions, and this is still going to be full capacity. And if we got to a point where we were seeing numbers and we had unvaccinated and vaccinated people staying together, then we'd have to go back and really consider the capacity restrictions. And we don't want to do that. We want to allow Josh and the team to run out there to a full stadium, just like we want Jack and the team to skate out to a full arena. And the only way to do that is to ensure that everyone who goes to these and sits in the stadium and attends a game is vaccinated. The players fall under the NFL protocols. We are telling people to get vaccinated beforehand. We had considered having vaccine clinics here, but we also have never issued vaccines to individuals who may have imbibed in a lot of drink beforehand. And we don't want to be in a situation where someone had a few beers or was out here since 7 o'clock in the morning and had more than a few beers and then tried to get vaccinated. First off, they probably can't consent legally if they are inebriated. And we do not want to be in a situation where individuals are in a state where they're demanding a vaccine and may not be in the best condition to receive it at that time. So that's why we're offering vaccine clinics previously. And seriously, there is no excuse for not getting a vaccine now. You can walk into any drugstore and get a vaccine. Erie County Department of Health has had hundreds of clinics, if you think about the number of days and how many times we've had dual clinics on a certain day. And that's just the Erie County Department of Health. We're not talking about all the other entities that provide vaccines. Everyone who's wanted a vaccine could get a vaccine. There is plenty of opportunity to get vaccine. And so for those individuals who want to get vaccinated to attend a Bills game or a Sabres game, you got plenty of opportunity to do it before the 26th, or for that matter, as Ron noted, the Eric Church concert on the 25th. And we'll do it for free. You don't have to pay to get your vaccine. You don't have to wait to the day of the event to get vaccinated. And we just feel it's better that the people who are coming here, that are walking into our stadium, that are standing next to others in gates, everyone else looks around and can see and know that these people are vaccinated. Otherwise, they're not walking in. What was that question again? Well, we're still recommending it for indoors. There was no recommendation or mandate with regards to the outdoor portion previously. And I was here, and it was actually pretty windy and in the location, as it always is, in the bowl around the facility. We feel that if people understand the situation, and it would not shock me if you're vaccinated, those are some of the individuals who are wearing masks anyway, just to be protected. But we feel much more comfortable that the safety of the attendees will be much higher if we do not have individuals who are unvaccinated who are then at much higher risk of getting sick and getting a serious illness. We see the numbers. We know the numbers. The average age of death for an individual who was vaccinated in Erie County from July through, I think, September 2nd was 84. The average age of death of an individual who was unvaccinated in that same time period was 68. And if you're unvaccinated, you're at much higher risk of serious illness and death. So for us, we believe that this is creating, without going to capacity limits and requiring all masks of everyone, the safest environment that we possibly can have. They all have to follow certain protocols that exist pursuant to their employment. Like I do know individuals associated with, like on the field, I believe Ron can talk, but I believe on the field they have to be vaccinated. So individuals that are working in a direct place with the public, we want them to be vaccinated. I understand there may be somebody who's taking money at a parking lot who might not be vaccinated, but they're all going to be masked. All employees of the Bills and other organizations must be masked. I believe that is a fair statement. George. But at that point, everyone will have had 2 doses. So our view is to let everyone an opportunity. It's not just Wednesday. They can go out today, George. Think about that. That's a full week. So we're giving them the time. If they did it on Wednesday, they might not be fully vaccinated. If they go out today, if they go out tomorrow, if they go out on Friday, what's today? Today's Tuesday, right? Okay, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Probably no vaccine clinics open on Sunday, but you might be able to get one at one of the drugstores. They will be fully vaccinated by the 31st. They don't have to come here for their vaccine. They can go to any place as long as they're getting the Pfizer, Moderna, or Johnson & Johnson. It's much too soon.
I'm not sure if this question is best suited for you or for you, Ron, but on
No, and first of all, our fans and our staff, and the county staff, and everybody who was involved in that, deserve all the credit in the world for getting here early. We had record attendance inside the gates at 1 p.m. It's never happened before, and kudos to our fans for doing that. We actually implemented some very closely held protocols at the game this past Sunday, seeing how that would flow through. We feel very confident that with the earlier start date into the gates and with the recognition from our fans and the unbelievable cooperation from them, that we will be able to accomplish it in a very efficient manner.
Yeah, I will note, I want to thank the Bills organization for allowing the early entry, and for all their partners, Vista Security and the like, the sheriff's office, because it really flowed as smooth as I've ever seen it. I was in one of our security offices watching on the screens as we can view the gates. And normally you see a massive humanity at about 12:45, and there was hardly anyone. I think there was one gate that had a little bit of a line. That's because people came early, they took advantage of the situation, they watched the pregame warm-ups, they were throwing the balls with Diggs as he was tossing them into the stands and back and forth. So it was great to see that. But what was nice is that people took it seriously, got in early, and we believe that the same protocols, once in place for the September 26th game, will work just as well. If we limited it to a half-hour entry, we'd have problems. But by having the early entry and seeing it flow as good as it did with this most recent game, it just proves to us that we can get this done and get everyone in there before game time. Sandra.
I won't respond directly. That's an impossible ask of our staff to manage 65,000 people with masks, with every other thing that we have going on. I would look at it a little differently. I've seen the county executive's numbers. They weren't where they should be, but they were really good, and they got better and better from the preseason game to the first game. So I would look at it more from a positive perspective, is that we did all pull together and do the best we can, but it's clearly an impossible task. And thankfully, one of the benefits of having full vaccination is not having that mask mandate for our fans. Similar, yeah. I can't speak to that. We haven't had those conversations with their county executive yet and their mayor, but similar.
Sure. Well, if people are concerned after attending a Bills game or any event where they feel that there was a risk of possibly being exposed to COVID-19 and being infected, we have to know, first of all, we have a predominance of the Delta variant here in Western New York, so we have to take caution about that. And what the recommendations are with the Delta variant is that people start to get tested 3 to 5 days after they believe they've been exposed. So people should think about making an appointment to get tested at the Erie County Health Department. We're offering testing at 2 different sites, Monday through Fridays, and then one testing site on Saturdays. Call 716-858-2929 to schedule a test. But there are many pharmacies and areas across the county where you can get a test. Again, 3 to 5 days. And if you develop symptoms at any time, definitely get a test. The Delta variant causes symptoms just like a cold, and not everybody loses their sense of taste or their sense of smell. So if you think you have a summer cold, you might have the Delta variant of COVID-19, and get a test. Thank you.
This will be the last question. I think Mother Nature is telling us it's going to be the last question. Michael.
Do the contact tracers in this situation pick events? I mean, if somebody comes in on Thursday or Friday and they are positive, do they ask if they were at Billy Joel?
Yes. we actually have. After one of the protocols we put in place, starting with the Billy Joel concert, of course the preseason game, large events like the Erie County Fair, was that individuals would be asked, did you attend the fair? If so, what day? Did you attend the concert? Did you attend the preseason game? Who did you go with? Who did you sit around with? So that is something that has already been in place, and that's why we've been able to identify that there were some individuals who attended, and I say some, it is a smaller number. We're not talking about thousands or hundreds, but less than 100 who attended those events and did test positive for COVID. And then the determination was, were any of them potentially contagious based on the date or the time of their first symptoms to determine were they contagious. And we did believe that there were some individuals who were contagious who attended those functions. They may not have been showing any illnesses, but as you know, you can actually be contagious and not have and feel the effects of COVID-19 until a couple days thereafter. That's the last question, everyone.
Real quick, any update on stadium talks? Do you know if there's been any?
I'll take that. I'll take that. I'll take that.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
It's about stadium talks.
Development on stadium?
He heard it. I will note, let's put it this way. We continually have talks, whether it's in person, on the phone, by email, by virtual, between the principals as well as the representatives. And that continued with even this weekend. This is all about ensuring the safety and protocol of our prisons, of our folks today. I would note that we will continue to have conversations between the teams, and I think this joint effort shows you that we can work together and reach something that is in the best interest of the greater community. Thanks, everyone.